Hey everybody, this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. Today is the 12th of February, 2020. I am still in Amarillo, Texas, but not for much longer. The roads have been really rough getting in and out of here, and I am empty, so I don't have a load at all. So wherever I go, I'm going to be deadheading, and it's not good to be driving on slick roads as it is. Empty can be even worse, so because there's just no weight there. So anyway, but the roads have cleared up. It's still gonna have to take it a little slow, but I talked to my driver manager, Jonathan, yesterday, and I had requested time off the next few days, and I thought I was gonna have to delay that a week or so because I had to go down to the yard, but it turns out that what they're gonna just have me do, because they can't find me a load going to Albuquerque or going that way right now that makes sense of getting me repowered off, is they're just gonna deadhead me to Albuquerque. Good and bad part about that. Good part is I can get there and I can shut down and everything, and that's not an issue. Bad part is you don't get paid to deadhead for home time. I will get paid when they give me a load out of there, wherever. If I have to deadhead to, they'll pay me that, but to get over there, they're not going to do that. That said, it's not a whole lot. It's only $30-40, give or take, maybe. Well, even if it's 300 miles, even let's say it's $100, they do pick up the fuel cost as a company driver. So I'm not having to eat that. So it's worth it. It's a good thing, and I'll be on home time until Sunday morning. May or may not record anything while I'm over there, but we'll see. But even though it's been rough having to shut down here for about 2.5 days, or I want to say 2.5 days. Let's say 2 days. Basically 2 days. Sometimes you got to do it. It's rather be safe than sorry. You lose control of one of these trucks. There's a good chance somebody's going to end up getting killed, or at least hurt very, very badly. So better safe than sorry. But I'm going to go ahead and make this run to Albuquerque. Get a stop for fuel in Tucumcari, and then go from there. So we're gonna play with my, we're gonna see what my new camera picks up as we go along a little bit, and check that out. And I will talk to you again face to face like this when I get to Albuquerque. Stay tuned. Devil Dog. We are on Interstate 40 westbound, just almost to the New Mexico Texas state line. Been driving for not very long, about roughly about an hour and 20 minutes or so, headed towards Albuquerque. This sort of view that I have driving down the road. Again, I'd like some feedback from you if you like this view. If you'd like the camera a little bit lower maybe, or whatever, but I like this view. Sort of gives you an idea about sort of what I see from as I'm driving. So but like I said, we're getting ready to come up on the New Mexico state line pretty quick here. Just a few things, just to let you know. One of the big things about being safe driving, and you've heard me if you've watched most of my videos or some of the videos that deal with safety, you'll realize that I talk a lot about following distance, and that's a big thing with Stevens Transport, is following distance. So what we try to do is when the roads are dry, okay, that we try to keep a 6-second interval between us and the vehicle in front of us. Now, if the roads are wet or anything like that, if they're anything other than dry, we try to actually increase that following distance to 12 seconds. And that's to allow us to go ahead and to be able to, if something happens, to stop, because that's the best way to try to avoid that collision, is to be able to stop in time. Trying to swerve out of the way or other things can just cause other issues, rollovers, turnovers, loss of control, that kind of stuff. So being able to have that following distance, and as you can see, if you just saw these two cars that just passed me, I don't know how fast they're going, but right now I think the speed limit is 75 where I'm at, but we're not going to go that fast. We are governed at 64 miles an hour, so that's about the fastest we can go. That's not the fastest we should go, but just hold on one sec. Coming into New Mexico here, my home state, born and raised, growing up. So welcome to New Mexico, the land of enchantment, and into the mountain time zone. So they do have a nice information center as you come in. You can find tons of information about New Mexico. Most states have these places as you go into the state. I know the one coming eastbound near Gallup is under construction still, but there's a lot of good places to stop. Most of these places also will have some parking for semis, especially roads around here, because like for instance, the last couple days, these roads have been, I don't want to say shut down, but they've been very dangerous to semis. Now, some days the weather gets so bad that they shut these roads down, and you've got to find a place to hunker down for a few days, just like I was in Amarillo for a few days. But you know, so you'll see places like that. You'll see places to stop. Up here ahead is the Russell Travel Center in a little bit, and that's where I stopped and did a repower at a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, give or take. But as we go and we see, you know, we're driving along and just paying attention to what the roads are like and everything, you know, that's important. I know if you've never been to New Mexico, it's a very diverse climate. I think we have all of the climate or temp or like weather zones. I think they're called climate zones, but I'm not 100% sure. Except for two of them. I think there's either 7 or 9 of 9 different climate zones, and we have all of them except for 2 of them. One is like the Arctic, Antarctic one, and the other one is rainforest. Other than that, you're going to find everything in New Mexico, from mountains to deserts to forests to, you know, all sorts of things. So that's what you end up finding out. So that's what you end up seeing. So, but this is heading into New Mexico. It is a beautiful drive. We've never been through the state of New Mexico. If you're going east-west, there are 2 major routes that you would take. One that would be going through, like we're going now, I40, which runs along. For the most part, it runs along the old US 66, Route 66. That's what I40 sort of runs along. So you see parts of that as you go. And then you also have, it's I-10 through, that goes through El Paso, Las Cruces, out towards Silver City, and then towards Tucson. So those are the major east-west interstates. And there's one major north-south interstate, and that's Interstate 25. And that goes from the Colorado border near Raton, Trinidad, to all the way down south where it ends right in Las Cruces. So, but that's the major north-south. And if you follow I-25 and you follow it north, you're going to run all the way up into Wyoming and beyond. So it's a like I said, there's a lot to know. Now, one of the things to also know about New Mexico is, even though it may not be high in population, New Mexico is high in land area. It's the 5th largest state area-wise in the country. So there's a lot of open land, a lot of driving around from place to place. The major metropolitan centers where we're going to be spending the next couple of days on my home time, that's going to be in Albuquerque. Now, Albuquerque metro area is, I believe, now, don't quote me on this, because I'll put the number up when I edit this, but the metro area itself, I believe, is about 750,000 people, about 750,000 people, I believe. But that includes Rio Rancho, Bernalillo, Albuquerque, Los Lunas, Belen. I don't know if it includes Moriarty and Edgewood, but that whole area right there. And then there's a couple other big population centers up near Santa Fe, down near Las Cruces. Those are the big ones right there, and that's all in that I-25 corridor. So, and the Rio Grande Valley. So anyway, that's my little take on New Mexico here so far. We'll show you a little bit more later, and just stay tuned. Hey everybody, I am about 100 miles east of Albuquerque on Interstate 40, heading west. I was talking about different climates here and different geography and topography here in New Mexico. Well, what do you see? Snow all over the place. It is showing me it's about 40 degrees outside, so I don't know how long this is gonna last. But up until this morning, this road was not in good shape to drive. So, but you can see the snow everywhere. It's still sort of flatlands out here, but that's not going to last for very long. We're going to be heading to the mountains in the short term. I'll show you in a little bit, but I just wanted you to see how different from when we entered New Mexico. It was everything looked dry. And now we have snow all over the place. So, just to give you a heads up. So, I am almost at Klein's Corners, New Mexico, and that's where you can take a road that will go down south towards Roswell, Carlsbad, if you ever get a chance to see Carlsbad Caverns, going that way. But one of the things I wanted you to see as we're going here is the billboards. I've driven almost all over this country before I started driving a truck and since I've been driving a truck. And I have not seen billboards anywhere like I've seen in New Mexico and Arizona. But really in New Mexico, you can see the number of things that they're pushing to try to get people off at this exit at the Flying C Ranch. Just everything. Guy stuff. Replica guns. Native American jewelry. Girl stuff. It literally says girl stuff. Cool stuff. Just all this stuff. But just trying to get you to come in, and as soon as you get to here, they're going to disappear for a while. So that's the Flying C Ranch right there. Not a bad place to stop and check the place out. But anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. So I'm about 50 miles outside of Albuquerque, east of Albuquerque. And as you can notice, the scenery is starting to change a little bit. Still got the snow, but if you can see, we're starting to come up to some mountains. So what you're going to see, and I don't know exactly how wide an angle you're going to be able to see, but this is all part of the southern part of the Rocky Mountains. So you've got the Sangre de Cristos, which are, I think they go from southern Colorado through near Santa Fe, a little bit south of Santa Fe, and then part of that is you go and move into the Sandia Mountains. Those are going to be the ones that are just to the east of Albuquerque. And then if you just go just to the south of I40, also east of Albuquerque, you're going to have the Manzano Mountains, and those will go down towards the southern part of New Mexico into the Organ Mountains. That's Organ, O-R-G-A-N, the Organ Mountains. And so those are going to be down near Las Cruces. So again, seeing a change in topography. If you have not been out here to New Mexico, it's beautiful to see the changes, especially when it starts to green up. But even in this blanket of snow, it's pretty beautiful. So as we get closer to the mountains, I'll show you a little bit more, and you can tell the difference, especially in the vegetation. Like right now, all you're seeing are scrub bushes and things like that. Maybe a few sparse trees here or there that just sort of either were planted or just sort of came up, but nothing like what you're going to see in a little while. And in 65 miles, we went from plains to mountains. You can see as we get, we're going to pass right in between the Sandias and the Manzano Mountains, coming up here in a few. I do remember a little over a week ago, I was on I-80 going west from New York, and I saw a sign that said highest point on Interstate 80 east of the Rocky Mountains, and it was 2,200 feet, 2,200 feet. That ain't anything you're going to see here in a few. I'm going to just let this run for a little bit, and just to show you. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop it for a minute and pick it up in about 10 minutes or so, so you can really see what this looks like. But I will tell you that we are definitely going to be higher than 2,200 feet in the next few minutes. So I'll see you in a few. All right, we're going to pick it up from here. We are just getting to the backside. You can see now the vegetation has definitely changed, if you've noticed. Again, some of you who've been driving trucks have seen this. I mean, I-40 is a major east-west thoroughfare. You've seen this. If you're just getting into truck driving, you will see this. You should. I mean, unless you're just driving local or regional and you're not driving anywhere in the Southwest or towards the West Coast. But if you do, you're going to see this, and you're going to see how different things change. You're starting to see more evergreen trees. Okay, instead of you'll still see some seasonal trees, but you're going to see more of the evergreen trees here. Most of these at this level are pinon trees. If you don't know what pinon trees are, some places we call it pinon, but you'll hear pine nuts or that kind of stuff. But good trees as far as that, good trees for firewood, good trees, like I said, for pinon or pine nuts. But I'm gonna have to clean this windshield over and over again just because we're in a little bit of an area, and that was my lane departure warning thing just a second ago that you might have heard. I'll explain that. I think I've explained it in the past, but I'll explain it again later. But but we're going to get some wash kicked up here, so just going to be cleaning the windshield here or there so that you can see. Coming up on one of our trucks here, I'm going to slow down and give them some room. Because I'm empty, I'm not using my Jake brake at all. You know, deadheading and bobtailing, you don't use your Jake brake. But more importantly than just that is this road is a little wet, and anytime the road is anything other than dry, you want to stay away from your engine brake or your Jake brake. The way that it works, it can cause you to lose control, so you want to be careful about that. We're at Zuzax, that's that exit 178, but we're going to go through through the pass right here, through Tijeras, and you'll see a little bit of a difference here. As you start to get higher, and even here up in these mountains here, they're not the tallest mountains in New Mexico. As you go farther west, you'll see Mount Taylor. If you go north, you'll hit some of the other mountains that you'll see Ponderosa pine, and that's really the wood that they would use to build. Because this pinon isn't really designed for that. I mean, it doesn't have really thick branches that you could make boards or wood out of, or beams or anything like that. Whereas Ponderosa pine, absolutely, you can do that. And there is some Ponderosa up here. Those are going to look more like a traditional, I want to say, Christmas tree kind of shape. But we're going to give everybody plenty of room over here. Just one, so we're not so close to the wash, but we're still going to get it here. And I apologize if it makes it hard to see in this camera, because it doesn't seem to be clean in the way that I want it to. But anyway, plenty of room here. As you go through the mountains here, this mountain pass, the speed limit will drop a little bit anyway, down from 65 to 55, and then when you get on the other side, we'll get into Albuquerque. Now, you'll see it up here in a little bit. You'll see an elevation marker, but once you get into Albuquerque, a good part of Albuquerque is actually more than a mile high, higher than Denver. And Denver's always talking about mile high, but here in Albuquerque and in this area, we get a lot of people that come to train for the Olympics or for competitive running or anything that takes that kind of endurance, because if they can learn to perform well at this altitude, then when they get to lower altitudes, they really can perform well when they have a better oxygen supply. So it's conditioning up here. They do a lot of it. I've known people who've run in the Olympics. There was one guy that I met that he went and ran for his mother's home country, which I think he ran for, if I'm right, it was Jamaica. But they did pretty well. So we have a few Olympians and other people who train over here. So we're gonna back off here a little bit. But again, to the right you're seeing the Sandias. To the left you got the Manzano Mountains, and it's pretty beautiful. I'll once we get stopped at Flying J, where I'm going to be headquartered for the next few days during my break, I'll take some footage of the other side of the mountain so you can see that. So. just want you to pay attention to, if you don't know much about mountains, and like I said, or geology, if you notice that on this side, for the most part, you've got the rolling kind of mountains kind of on this side, very smooth, up and down, kind of little peaks and valleys kind of thing. Pretty smooth on this side. When you get to the other side, you're going to see more jaggedness. Usually that shows a mountain range that was made partially due to two tectonic plates colliding and one slipping under the other. When you have mountains that are sort of have a peak where it's all smooth all around or fairly like that, those a lot of times are made different through different means. Like for instance, Mount Taylor, that is west of here near Grants, is an old dormant volcano, and that's where that came from. As you drive through Grants, if you drive through I40, you will see a lot of volcanic rock, and that's just where you're getting. So again, I apologize if the view's not the best. This sort of rain and salt and everything is right in the camera's view, from what I'm guessing anyway. But hopefully you can see and appreciate where we're coming to. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen a movie called Wild Hogs. That was with John Travolta and Tim Allen, William H. Macy, and Martin Lawrence, where they rode their bikes. They wanted to be their own little biker gang, but they were all professionals kind of stuff, and they ride through here through a town called Madrid. If you're Hispanic or that, you'd say Madrid, but they don't say Madrid, it's Madrid. And there's a turn up here to head towards Madrid, where they filmed part of the movie as well, up there. And it's a nice little jaunt. You can go that way to go to Santa Fe and take a little side trip to Madrid. There's shops and restaurants and everything else up there. So if you're in a truck, that's not going to help you very much. But if you end up for some reason taking a 34 or longer here in Albuquerque, you can rent a car. Enterprise will deliver the car to you at a truck stop or whatever. You can rent a car and take a little day trip. There's also, if you just want to go to Santa Fe and you're over here, you can catch the Rail Runner, which is actually a train that goes from Albuquerque to Santa Fe a number of times a day and back. So as you can tell, if you look at the mountains now on the sides as you go, you're not seeing trees anymore, because this is the side where the tectonic plate went under another one, and so you're seeing a different kind of geological formation because of that. So it's just how it is. Now, also up here, there's the world's longest tram here off of Tramway Boulevard at Sandia Peak. They just opened a new restaurant at the peak. It's also a very famous place where couples will go to get engaged and that kind of thing. So it's very popular. It's a nice ride up there. it's chilly up there. If you go, especially this time of year, the difference can be 30 degrees plus from the base of the tram all the way up. There was an accident, a plane crash over here, and you can back in, I think in the 60s, maybe in the 50s, but there are remnants of it that you can see from the tram ride. So we're getting ready to come into Albuquerque right now. Just as we go over this hill, we're going to get into the foothills of Albuquerque. Back off here. Going to the other side of Albuquerque. You don't know much about Albuquerque, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about it. It's basically set up Albuquerque itself into 4 quadrants. There's some small different communities within that, but if you look at the 4 quadrants, and basically they're almost created by where I40 and I25 meet. So, let's see, hopefully that's the last time we got clean for a minute. So, you have the northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast, and different personalities for each section. It's not exactly separated by the interstates, but it's pretty close. Central and I think Broadway are the dividing lines between those, but they're pretty good. It's pretty interesting. So this is Albuquerque coming in again from the east side. I look forward to one of these days coming in, especially at night, from the west, because looking at the lights of Albuquerque are amazing. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's beautiful. But we're going to come in here. I used to live just until I started driving for Stevens Transport. I lived here in Albuquerque. I make my home now in Gallup. That's my hometown where I was born and raised. But I lived here in Albuquerque for the last about 12 to 14 years. 12? Yeah, somewhere between 12 and 14 years. Can't tell you for sure. But I live not too far from where we're at. In fact, we'll pass by here in a minute where I live. This is going to be a pretty long video today, just because I know so much about this area, and just wanted to share it with you. So, one thing about New Mexico that you're gonna realize is that just about every restaurant is going to offer you green chili as an option, like a condiment kind of thing, but we look at it more than a condiment. But green chili on everything: pizza, burgers, omelets, anything that you can think about putting green chili on, we put green chili on. So, just so you know. So you've heard me talk about in the past, if you watch my videos, where I worked before I came and decided to drive a truck. My last job was working for Dick's Sporting Goods here at Coronado Center. Coming up a little bit on your right. You're not going to be able to see the center too much, but you'll see a Marriott that's there, that's right near there. Just back off on here. So even when there's this many cars, it's really important to keep your following distances. People pulling ahead of you, just to get off of the accelerator. If you need to get on the brake a little bit, do that just a little bit, but just to let that following distance open up so you can get that 6 seconds. Right now the roads here are pretty dry, so 6 seconds should be good. But I like to keep as much room in front of me. It gives me a lot of options, especially in traffic like this, to make it to be able to be safe. So as you see the Marriott coming up on your right, I lived just a few blocks to the left as we're going this way to the left of there, which is to the south of there. And I lived there for, like I said, about the last, I want to say 14 years. But we're going to pass through where I40 and I25 meet, and that is called the Big I, the big interchange here. But we call it the Big I, and it's you will notice how the city changes a little bit as we go from east to west. If you see in the far distance, I don't know if you can see, you'll see a number of look like little humps out there on the mesa up there. We call it the West Mesa up there. Those are all dormant volcanoes. They call them, there's 3 of them that they call the triplets, I guess, that are up there. And go here. Yeah, we're passing right now right where I used to live. Well, one of the things that was interesting about this is that one of the videos that they showed at orientation at Stevens was about the importance of following distance, and it was filmed right here. I mean, right in this area right here, right by where I live. It was just so surprising. So right where we're passing right now, but it did demonstrate the importance of that 6 seconds plus that you need a following distance. And you don't get any place any slower by doing that. It doesn't take you very much more time to let off the accelerator and let people get past you. It just doesn't. So might as well do it. Get there safe. Get everybody else there safe, and be happy about it. So I will tell you that I've driven through Albuquerque a number of times in a truck, a number of times with Mark, who was my trainer, and a number of times by myself. Since I've been solo, we're heading towards 2.5 months now. Gonna be 3 months. Pretty soon I'll be done with grad fleet, but it doesn't change. I mean, it's always really interesting. So I'm always surprised at thinking about this, and I'll talk about that a little bit on the end of this video. So so right here's the Big I coming up. You head north on I-25, you'll pick up heading towards Santa Fe. That's going to be the route you take up to Denver and places north. You head south towards Las Cruces. That's going to be towards El Paso, but I-25 ends in Las Cruces right by New Mexico State University, and it picks up and becomes Interstate 10, and you take that through down to El Paso and points east or west from there. And then I-40, of course, will run all the way out to the west. It will run all the way to Barstow, California, where it ends and turns into, will run into I-15. And if you go east, it runs all the way out to North Carolina. So, but this is the Big I as we're going through here. They've redone it in the last decade or so to make it more friendly. But it's still interesting how people take turns so fast. You know, all of these turns, when you go over the flyovers and everything, will have recommended speeds, you know, and those speeds are recommended speeds for cars, for four-wheelers, not for trucks. We try to go at least 10 miles an hour slower around those turns to keep you from you know, possibly rolling over or you know, and but you see people lose it all the time. It's amazing to me when you go through those flyovers how many marks you see from tires on the walls, and it's not tight over there. I mean, there's three plus feet on either side of the travel lanes, but people manage to hit them anyway. So, okay, as you can see, we're getting to a little bit of an older part of Albuquerque here, at least. This is going to be in the northwest and northeast part of town over here. It should be northwest and southwest parts of town, and then headed up to the West Mesa. So again, that's my late departure marker. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I think we've talked about it before, but I'll let you know a little bit more about it here in a minute, or actually tonight. I'll try to remember. If I forget, anytime I say I'm going to post something and I forget, please remind me. Somebody was nice enough to remind me about that I had said I was going to post a recruiter's name and contact information, and I had forgotten. So I went back and did that. But please remind me if I say I'm going to post something and I forget. Remind me, and I'll go back and try to post it if I can. So we're going to get ready to head up to the West Mesa up here towards 98th Street and I40. That's where the Flying J is going to be up there, and that's where we're going to spend the next couple days. So Coors Boulevard coming up over here. The major north-south thoroughfare on the west side of Albuquerque, in the West Mesa, is Coors Boulevard. Which I said you can see a lot as we go. Again, this video is going to be a long one just because of I love showing off my home state, and we'll post some other kinds of videos over the next couple days as we're going around Albuquerque and sharing some different things. We'll take some time to post stuff so that you can see some different views and places, you know, that you can check out. There's nothing that Stevens has in their policy that says you have to take your home time in your hometown or your home of record. You can request wherever. If you have a family, of course, you're probably going to want to take it in your home of record or wherever they're at, especially if you have a wife and kids. But if you're single or your kids are grown or whatever, you can request wherever you want to take it. So in this case, I've got two daughters that live here in Albuquerque still, and that's why I requested it here in Albuquerque. So we're headed up towards the West Mesa 9 Mile Hill. We won't go all that far because we're getting off the Flying J here at exit 153. Albuquerque spreads not just east and west, but really north and south. It sits in a valley, the Rio Grande Valley. So it's like I said, when you come in from the west at night, you'll just be amazed at how widespread this city is. But it is beautiful to see. The lights of Albuquerque. There's actually a song by Jim Glazer called "The Lights of Albuquerque." I think there's a couple other people who have done it, redone it. There's one gentleman who was pretty true to the original on Amazon. I don't think you can find the original on Amazon. You can find it on YouTube. In fact, I'll put a link in the description below to that video. See some old-time Albuquerque, but it's a beautiful song, and just so that you can see. So we're at 98th Street. I'm going to go ahead and pull off over here and head to Flying J. I appreciate you guys coming along with me, and I'll close this thing up in a little bit and go from there. You guys have a good one. Hey everybody, this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. Just wanted to finish up this video for the day. I'm probably going to film some other stuff as I go out and about and spend some time with my daughters. But as far as this trip into here, I did use my camera, my new camera a lot. Luckily, it's like I said, I don't have to really do much just to turn on. Just tell it to turn on and it turns on, so that's good. But I filmed quite a bit because New Mexico is my home state, and I'm very proud of it, and I know a lot about it, and I just wanted to share that with you. So hopefully you enjoyed the video that you saw. It was probably really long, and it's probably gonna be longer than nearly anything that I usually film, but just because I wanted to show you that whole trip in. In fact, I'm looking forward to, before I post it, to watching it, because I'm just guessing what it filmed. I know based on where I put it, and I saw other film that I did when I first filmed, what that sort of scope of the view is, and I can look at it from my phone as it's showing. Like when I set it up, I can see the area that it has, because it doesn't have like a viewfinder or anything on it. So but as I'm driving and everything like that, I'm paying attention to driving and just talking. I can talk and drive at the same time, and I'm just hoping it's filming what I'm talking about. I don't know that it is, but I'm hoping it is. If not, that's the way it goes, and we're going to get better with this as we go. So it is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 12th here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's the Duke City. That's where part of my name comes from, Duke City Devil Dog. Even though I was born and raised in Gallup, New Mexico, I've been living in the Duke City for the last little over a decade, and probably almost a decade and a half. And before that, I lived here at other points in time. I went to school here in Albuquerque. So I would say probably, to be honest with you, about half of my life I've lived in Albuquerque, or not quite that much, but pretty close. So Duke City, again, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Devil Dog for a Marine Corps veteran. If you want to find out why Duke City, it was named after the Duke of Albuquerque. It's not Albuquerque, it's Albuquerque, but the Duke, who was, I think, a Spanish Duke, there was an extra R in there, Albuquerque, and so that's what it was named after. The local AAA baseball team for the majority of the time, especially when they were affiliated with the Dodgers for decades, when Tommy Lasorda and Ron Say and Steve Garvey and all those people came through here. It was a AAA affiliate for the Dodgers. They used to be the Albuquerque Dukes, and you'll still see Albuquerque Duke stuff around, but it's the nickname for Albuquerque is the Duke City. So again, that's where Duke City Devil Dog comes in. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the view. Leave me a comment below, please. Please subscribe. If you like the video, thumbs up. If there's some other things you'd like to see or some suggestions, please put that as well. One thing I mentioned in the video is sometimes I say I'm going to include something and I forget it. Okay, I forget to put it on there. So please remind me to do that if I forget, and I'll go back and I'll include it. Most of the time I'm not going to include it on the I'll include it in the notes below, so I can always edit that and change that as I go. But if I forget something, please let me know. That said, I'm gonna go take a shower. I'm gonna get ready, go see my daughters, and enjoy. So you guys have a great one. Again, this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm driving for Stevens Transport. I'm gonna be on home time. I may not post that often while I'm on home time, but you have a great one, and I will see you later.